In this video, I'm going to put all the Hive Bedwars Season 2 items in the tier list ranging from S to F tier, based on how useful they are. So without any further ado, let's get into the first item, which is the sword. One of the most useful items out there, the sword is essential for PvP, and it is probably the most effective and simple way of killing an opponent. And the diamond sword is really useful for shredding your opponent's health, especially if they're in iron or chain armor. And not to mention, how often do you go into a Hive Bedwars game and see nobody having a single sword? Exactly. So with that, the sword's going in S tier. Next up, also a really important item, are blocks. Blocks are extremely useful for bridging to islands and getting the resources you need to upgrade your generator. Arguably the best blocks for bridging in Hive Bedwars are wood and wool, while deep slate and obsidian are usually for building a bed defense. And the deep slate bed defense is extremely hard to get through when you're in early game, unless you have a pickaxe. I don't know about you guys, but blocks deserve S tier for me. Next up, we have the pickaxe. Pickaxes are extremely useful for breaking through deep slate defenses and getting the bed. But that's the only use I can think of for the pickaxe, but it's still very useful. Therefore, I'm gonna put pickaxes in A tier. Alright, the next item is the bow. Bows in general are really useful, whether it's for sniping people off bridges or just using them to bow spam on people. Nonetheless, using a bow also helps you get some really good combos. I'm gonna put the bow in A tier. The next item on the list is the axe. Honestly, I think the axe is just a stone sword but more expensive and that it can break wood faster, so it's not that good. And that's why I'm gonna give the axe a C tier. Next up, we got armor. Armor is not that necessary, and it is possible to win Bedwars games without it. But it's still very useful, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. Okay, it's time to go over the wind charge. Although I don't see many players using wind charges all the time, I can see them being extremely useful for traversing the map. And when paired with fall boots, you literally take almost no fall damage. So I'm gonna have to put them in A tier for this. The next item is the ender pearl. Using an ender pearl to travel between islands in the game is extremely handy. Not to mention, you could also use it for an ender pearl clutch. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. The next item is the Gappo. The Gappo can help you heal your health when you're low, and it's especially good when paired with the Totem of Life. Its regeneration is also quite fast, so I'm gonna have to put the Gappo in B tier. The next item is the Block Placer, which is basically a revamped version of the Treasure Wars Auto Bridger. What it does is it automatically places blocks for you, so it's quite useful. But since it's fairly overpriced and I prefer bridging by myself, I'm gonna have to give it a C tier. Next up, we have the Fireball. Fireballs do a crazy amount of damage, and if aimed correctly, could two-shot a player in diamond armor. And they're also quite effective for breaking a deep slate bed defense. The only downside is that you can't properly fireball jump with it, but that doesn't really matter, so the fireball is going in S tier. The next item is the Knockback Dory, which is basically a Knockback Nemo but with different looks. Anyways, when you use it on a player who's close to the edge of an island, they go flying into the void. And it's probably the most satisfying way to get a player in the void. The only downside to the item is that there's a way to counter it. You can just back up in the corner and you won't take any knockback. But anyways, the Dory's gonna go in A tier. Next up, we have potions. Overall, potions in Hive Bedwars are either really good or really pointless. An example of this is the potion of swiftness, which makes you move really quickly for a fair bit of time. And there's the potion of cryo freeze, which makes you unable to move, and it's pretty useless, but correct me if I'm wrong. But overall, potions in general get B tier. Now we've got totems. I'm not gonna lie, totems are the most broken items in Hive Bedwars. With the Totem of Fatigue, that gives your opponent mining fatigue, making it harder for them to break into your bed. And there's also the Totem of Life, which heals you back to full health really quickly, along with the Totem of Burning, which burns your opponent and enables you to do extra damage to them. And the fact that they cost literally 2 diamonds for one is crazy, because in endgame you could literally just stack your inventory full of them. So yeah, totems are easily going into S tier. Alright, the next item on the list are shears. Ever since Bedwars Season 2 started, I have never seen a single player use shears in the game of Bedwars. But not gonna lie, I can see them being pretty effective for block traps. So I'm just gonna put them in C tier. Alright, to end off the video, the final items are the wands from Bedwars Manor. Overall, wands are actually pretty good. There's the ice wand, which slows down players and allows you to catch and kill them more easily. There's also the arcane wand, which is like a bow, but I think is slightly better, and it's the only one that actually does damage. Along with the explosion wand, which breaks deep slate quickly and is good for getting to bed. And the most useful one by far has got to be the wind wand. It helps you get the bed quicker by knocking players away, and you could also use it to escape people. Wands in general are alright, but because of the wind wand, I have to give them an A tier. We have finished the tier list, and here's what it looks like. This wasn't the tier list that you were expecting. You can drop a comment on the video by saying how you would have done it. But just before I end the video, I want to ask you guys to subscribe, please. I'm trying to hit 1K before the end of the year, and your sub would be greatly appreciated. But anyways, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time.